Hey everybody, it's Mark, DoctorDeadwax's, and it's time to do day 3 of the inbox challenge. Not an easy day to make a video. I just got back. I've been out of the house for 11 hours. Drove for about 4 hours. I was out digging, went to 5 different record stores. Actually stopped to visit a friend for a couple hours in another city, and then I had to come home and clean records and listen to them and do some research and now make a video. And my God, I don't know how I'm doing this. Anyway, the point is to keep moving forward. So today is brought to you by Jonas. The numbers were picked by Jonas, SublimMedia. And funny thing is, some days I'm going to pick total crap out of these bins that nobody's going to like, and some days I'm going to pull some stuff out of these bins that people like. And I think on the odd occasion I'm going to be able to pull some stuff out that the person whose numbers I'm pulling out is actually going to like. And I think there's a couple of things in today's stack that Jonas is actually going to like. Anyways, first up, just a standard The Police Zenyatta Mondatta. This is from my childhood. Dollar bin record every day. This is like a perfectly mint. The cover's got a little ding in it, but this is a perfectly mint Canadian pressing of this record. It's almost like a palate cleanser. Listening to this record, it's kind of simplistic. Not simplistic. It's kind of perfect pop, and it has that kind of post-punk awesomeness to it, and it's got a little bit of that. A couple of these songs have that kind of edgy, art rocky guitar of Andy Sumner. So, anyways, listening to this was actually it seems like maybe a bit of a sonic palate cleanser. Canadian pressing, TLC-A in the deadwax. TLC stands for the lacquer channel. It's out of Toronto. Some people have said online that TLC-A stands for the lacquer channel Anaheim, and TLC-T stands for the lacquer channel Toronto. I can't find any evidence there ever was a lacquer channel Anaheim, so I've also heard that the TLC-A and the TLC-T denote 2 different cutting lathes, and they marked them as such so that if there was a problem, they would know which lathe the problem was from. So I'm going to go with that, and it makes me think, you know, on records that have the T and the A, that maybe they were running multiple lathes at the same time. So that's about all I got for that record. And that came out of that came from a collection I bought, you know, and I just kept it because. And now I'm going to get rid of it because I have my own copy from when I was a kid, and I don't need that anymore. Next is The Right Touch by Pearson. And the players on this are Freddie Hubbard, Stanley Turrentine, James Spaulding, Jerry Dodgion, Garnett Brown, Gene Taylor, and Grady Tate. This is a Blue Note. This is an interesting one because it's an audition mono LP, not for sale. So it's actually their Blue Note's version of a promo, and it doesn't say anything on the label. It's just got the standard label. The label is a Liberty, Blue Note Liberty, and the record has a couple scratches on it. They took a little bit. This is actually a highly listenable copy. Really, really happy with it. Really pleased. I showed this to David McSopey one night on Skype. I just was showing him. He had asked me what I, had picked up recently, and I showed him one of my hauls. And this was in there, and he was quite interested in it. One of the great things about it was this was a whopping 97 cents. So, got to be happy with that. Standard Blue Note, Liberty. I can't say enough about the Liberty pressings from Blue Note. They are not of the sonic quality, say a Lexington. Not that there's a Lexington of this, but a Lexington will cost you $600 or $700 of a good record, and a Liberty will cost you $20, $25, $35 of the really hot titles from Blue Note. So they still knew what they were doing. They still knew what they were doing when it was the solid blue with the black B2. So just stay away from the direct Metal Master Blue Notes. That's my only opinion. And this is my first Blue Note promo pressing. So, and of course it's mono. And you can also tell that because it says microgroove on the label, where it's set, when it's stereo it says stereo, where it says microgroove. So that's 2 down. Next up is Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? Now this copy's a little, you know, it's torn, it's split to shit. But I bought it anyway because it is a 2-color reprise or reprise. So this record originally came out on the 3-color reprise or reprise label, and then it came out on the 2-color. And the official swap from the 3-color to the 2-color label is apparently this record. So the 3-color is considered the earliest pressing of it, but the 2-color uses the exact same plate as the 3-color. One of the plates on here is a 1B and the other plate is a 1M. So the 1B plate, I've seen instances online where that comes on a 3-color label. So if you're looking for this record sounds really good too. If you're looking for this record and you want an early one and you want to save yourself $100, you might want to look at just getting one of these 2 colors instead of the 3-color, because it is the same plates. And I'm not entirely sure what it denotes, but the micro groove, the groove here, the ring, I don't know which plant that pertains to, but you can actually get so far down the rabbit hole as to know which plant had what width rings on this pressing. This has a couple little like surface scuffs on it and stuff, and but it's actually super clean, which is why I bought it, even though the cover is completely pooched. And this was $4.99, and I thought that was worth it, just because for all intents and purposes, it is a first pressing. It's not quite the earliest first pressing because of the label, but I mean the stampers say it is, so why not go for that? It has a little bit of groove damage at the very top end of the register, but overall it's highly listenable, and I'm really glad to have found a copy of that. And it came with the original inner too, which is always cool. So, Jimi Hendrix, Are You Experienced? I'm going to do all 5 today. The next one is Echo and the Bunnymen, Ocean Rain. And this is like a perfect near mint Canadian pressing. Comes with the inside jacket. This is on a label I've not seen before, which is called Korova. So this is a Canadian pressing. Don't know where it was cut. I would say it was probably cut in Quebec. Now Echo and the Bunnymen, I mean, they're from my period of, I was huge into new wave and the post-punk scene when it was actually happening, and But Echo and the Bunnymen were a band I never really got into. I had a couple of their albums at one time. I don't know where they are now. Friends might have them. But they never quite gelled with me. And I have to say, coming back to this as the person I am now, at the age I am now, I really enjoyed this. I will be listening to this again, and I'll be looking for more Echo and the Bunnymen, either deep in my collection if they're still there, or buying new copies. But this is a pretty strong album. This has the hit "The Killing Moon," but there's a lot of great titles on here, and I think this is one of the later albums from them. And finally, I found in the bins, the number pulled, another copy of Neil Young, "Time Fades Away." This is a Canadian pressing. It's on the Reprise tan label with the Steamboat. Most of them have the Steamboat. One of the interesting things was on the label it says this recording was mastered 16-track direct-to-disc by computer. This is one of the earliest computer. It was a computerized mastering board that was used for for mixing. I don't know what to say about this record. I mean, I'm sure Tony's probably talked about this, and I could either maybe troll Tony and say a whole bunch of bad things about it so that he has to make a response. But I'm just gonna. Oh, and it also came with the it's a lyric sheet that comes on like this big poster. So what can you say about "Time Fades Away"? It's got this notoriety, or this specialness of being one of the first things ever done with a computer. It's never been released on CD. They've tried a few times, nearly, but they haven't quite worked it out. It's, I think, one of 2 records by Neil not released on CD. "Journey into the Past" is the other. It's a really good album in my opinion. I have this. I have the exact same pressing as this, but it has a promo punch, and my copy's a little cleaner. The music on it is excellent. It's like the tour for Harvest, but it's a rockier band than Harvest, and it was like a bad time in Neil Young's life, and I think one of the guys from Crazy Horse died of heroin overdose around this time. He might have been supposed to have been on the road maybe with this band, but they had to kick him off. Neil Young says it's the worst album he's ever done. He doesn't really like it. I really think he should take a listen to his catalog if he thinks that's the worst album he's ever done. I think it's actually quite a strong album. It's, new tracks recorded live, which is a very to me that's a kind of great, courageous way to do something, as opposed to just going over and over them in the studio, track by track by track. So the problem with the recording was it was done on like this computerized mixing board, and then the entire 16 channels were put down, and then the plates, or it was mastered directly, and so there is no tape that they can make a new, and then the tape was chucked apparently, so there is no tape that they can make a new CD from. There is apparently some tapes are available that they could do like a reconstruction, but you'd never get the exact same record that this is. And supposedly there is another version of "Time Fades Away" coming out at some point in the future called "Time Fades Away 2", which uses alternate tapes from the same tour with a different drummer, because this has the second drummer from the tour, because the first drummer from the tour quit because Neil was being such a pain on the tour. So anyways, really bad time in Neil's life. He's not happy with it, but I gotta say it's a really good record. Funny thing about this record, I've had a few records that have this kind of low-grade crackle in them lately, and when you look at them under a magnifying glass, the vinyl almost looks like it's wrinkled. And I think, I don't know, I think that's maybe the records have gotten hot at some point in their life. But it has this exact same, the record is really clean, it's in pretty good condition, it sounds good, but it's got this kind of background crinkly, and I think that's what this kind of wrinkled, because I looked at my other copy that I have that's in my collection that's a clean and quiet one, and it has, the vinyl doesn't have any wrinkle, but these are the exact, both records are identical plates right down to matrix numbers and everything, so they're obviously from pressed at the exact same time in the exact same batch. So anyways, Jonas, those were the records from today. I don't know if you have any of these. Do you have Time Fades Away? Have a great day, everybody. Keep the record spinning, and I'll see you tomorrow.